Alright, so here's the who's who of this shop. First, I'm going to show you a toolbox that uh, there was a mechanic working out of. This guy just quit showing up for work. It's actually the boss's tools, but uh, he was letting him use them because it's his son. Kind of going around giving a who's who in this shop. Alright, so this box is fairly well organized because of who? Me. The guy couldn't work out of this box with all the sockets thrown in the top of it and just wrenches strode everywhere. So guess what? Went to Harbor Freight, got these two carabiners. I mean, they're not meant to hold a lot of weight, but they're just holding wrenches. Red carabiner. These socket trays were mine. Bought him that tray because he's complaining about not having any shelves after seeing my box. Let me see. There's another carabiner right there that didn't even get used. I actually took everything out of this top tray and organized it at one time. I mean, I know you can't tell it now, but alright, now we're going to go to the most recent person to get hired. This is his box. He does have this going on for him. Here's his drawer of tools. If he has to find something in here, he has to dig for a little bit. There's the bottom shelf. Everything's just kind of thrown in there. This is my boss's office. That's a complete Volkswagen motor right here. All of these parts. Well, except for that box of Freon right there. Well, there's the block to it. There's the other parts to it right there. It wasn't a stack right here. Just sitting here chilling. Box of parts in the corner. The organizational skills. A month worth of receipts. Alright, we'll move along. My toolbox. Everything has a place on my toolbox. Punches that I actually need to take home and start using this glove holder as a glove holder. Magnets I bought to organize my ratchets and stuff you can see hanging right there that I haven't used yet. This is how a mechanic works. This box right here has SAE nuts, bolts, washers, lock washers, and this is from when I was doing maintenance. It has wire nuts in it. You don't use wire nuts on a car. Don't even get me into that. Let's just not go there right now. But instead of looking 3 hours for one bolt, oh, you come over here, You got a box of standard bolts. You can find them. Let's just go into it. Everything labeled where it is. Everything labeled what it is. Everything labeled how big it is. Everything. I can keep going, but at this point you get the gist of it. Okay? So I'll go into it on another video about all of this right here, because it ties into something else. These are my wrenches. They're out because of this vehicle I'm working on behind me. Pliers, yeah. I'll get to the rest of what's on the side boxes later on. All of my adapters, swivels, everything right there. Ratchets, extensions, all metric sockets, all metric drivers, 1/2-inch extension. Well, there's actually 2 of them, 3 of them, and then 1/4-inch long extensions. All standard sockets, labeled what they are. 2 axle nut sockets that is probably going to get claimed I didn't buy. Specialty E-Torques, small E-Torques. Triple square that I had to buy for my Volkswagen. Standard nut drivers. Magnet transmission extension. Grapple. If you don't know what that is, if you've never used one and you do some part-time mechanic work, you need to get a long grapple and a long extension. Grinder ducked off. Strap wrench. Multi-tap for charging my Ryobi batteries. If you're wondering what this box is, it's for broke tools. Because if you're a mechanic, you're going to break some tools. Alright. Razor blades, hook blades. Hang on one second. Alright, now we're back. Where was we at? Hook blades, bits, bit driver, razor knife, razor knife accessories. Every kind of blade that I've seen so far, and the razor knife holder. Drill stop set. Small cutters, small pliers. Get this open. This is a pretty trick set. And you can see my thumb right there. These are really, really small. Every kind that you can think of. Cutters, pliers, really, really fine needle nose pliers, crook nose pliers. This is how my box stays. Okay, this looks like a junk drawer, but it's really not. We've got cut disc, battery terminal cleaner, wire brush, receipt bag, receipts. These are food and tool receipts. They're both tax write-offs. Change bin, more receipts, wire brush set that goes on a drill. Wire brush for grinder and grinding rock. I really don't have to open this drawer up much, so it doesn't bother me too much. Punch set, hammers, There's usually a dead blow right here where my pinky is, and a big hammer right here. We've got it out because we're using it right now. Wrenches. Standard, metric, crow's foot metric, crow's foot standard, stubby metric ratchet wrenches, flex head ratchet wrenches, standard ratchet wrenches, and you see I've got the offset ones, standard and metric, both up there. Stubby standard, flex head standard. Them are some really cool ones. Half moon standard, half moon metric, pick set, radiator hose set, and we've got the third one out because we're using it right now. This one just kind of sits in here by its lonesome. As you can tell, we've grinded on it a little bit. Had to make it a little thinner, so we took some cheap off-brand wrench, sanded on the top side of it, sanded on the bottom side of it, and made it really thin so it could fit between a nut and a stud to take the stud out, or to hold the stud so we could take the nut off of it. Plier holders. Some of these are in my rigid box over there. Some of them are over here on this vehicle behind me. They're in use. O-ring set, cotter pin assortment, another bit driver with a T-handle driver, sockets and bits, small diameter tubing bender. This DriveWorks box has the flare tool in it, colored electrical tape, gas resistant thread tape, yeah, let's go into this one. Plugs. If you work in a mechanic shop, you know that you have to have plugs because you have to stick them in brake lines, transmissions. Anytime you have something open, you don't want something falling in it, you have to plug the hole. So this is things that were never even thought about before I came to this shop, or were afterthought. 12-point sockets. I rarely ever use them. Most mechanics don't, unless you have like a Ford drive shaft that requires a 12-point socket. Try and get this box out of here without vacuum hose splices. That is the cheap and correct way to repair a vacuum line. All right, it's almost empty. This was a box full of hose clamps. They have been used and not resupplied. Labeled right on the box, used gaskets and O-rings. Occasionally you come across something that you can't get a part for. Yes, it's hoarderish, pack ratish, but it happens. This stuff here is not even my stuff, but this is my box it's in. I paid for the box. This is stuff that was not thought about before I got here. You have some very common bulbs in the front, mini fuses, regular size fuses, wire splices, maxi fuses, relays. Like I said, stuff that was not thought about before I got here. That is a 20-piece jumbo socket set used for axle nuts, new gaskets and O-rings. Sometimes you buy gasket kits that come with gaskets you don't need. So when you get in a bind and you need a gasket, sometimes you can come to a box like this and find what you need. Stuff that wasn't thought about before I came down here. Okay. Here's something that everybody should think about. And this is on my mind because I just had to get my clothes out of it yesterday, because I got 3 antifreeze baths from radiator hoses that got taken loose that were still full that should have been drained. You need to change your clothes. If you're going to do mechanic work on a lift, you need to change your clothes. White lithium grease, water resistant silicone, some basic screwdrivers I let everybody use, air chuck. Get this, blue thread lock in a red bottle. Some memes make their salespeople. That is a bucket I can throw some tools in, take it with me if I got to go out in the parking lot. Magnet tray with bolts left over from my Jetta. Calendar. By now it should be pretty obvious who is and who ain't. Doing this to just kind of document how things are around here.